And something I'm really big on is standards. And so even now, like as I'm driving down the road and I see door staff just on their phone, it drives me insane. Or
Me too.
on the bus with a badge on or walking down the I'm like, what are you doing, mate?
That is, we talk about pet hates, and we talk about things that don't really impact your role so much, but just a pet hate. Going to and from work with your badge on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to say this. If I upset you, I don't care at this point. If you're walking to and from work with your badge on in a black coat, you're just an idiot. You're just asking for someone to attack you. My badge stays in my pocket the second
100%.
the last punter has left the door, and it doesn't go on my arm until after I've signed the book. I don't know about you. I don't know if
I'm the same.
It's just you see it on, they're on bus. They're on buses.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're getting on the night bus or whatever with their badge on their arm. I'm thinking,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
oh my god!
I mean, how many times at work have you been? Has there been a case of mistaken identity, right? I.e., a door staff has restrained someone, or someone's been assaulted, and someone and they're like, "You did that to me."
Yeah,
and now you're on the bus home by yourself.
Massive target
with 10 geezers.
I used to even take it to another level. So if I parked close to the venue and it was raining, not so much, but if I was having to walk into work, I wouldn't even wear a black coat into work. I'd different coloured jumper, blue jumper, red jumper, whatever, just to walk in, just to try and hopefully hide as much. And again, it's not fear. I just don't want to be approached on my way home.
People might think that's over the top, but that's this situational awareness. And it's like, if I've done enough of this stuff whilst I'm at work, I don't want to do it when I'm finished at 4 o'clock in the morning alone. Like, no. So just to take those small steps, because it is, because some people, it's taught. It is taught. And so don't be lazy around it. Do you know what I mean? Save yourself the potential for real harm.
And people have been assaulted on their way home from work, but it's not even about that for me. It's the whole, oh mate, yeah, you're the doorman from such and such. When can my friend come back in? I don't want to have this conversation right now. Yeah. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I want to get home. 100%. So yeah, you triggered me there with that little because it really is, and I don't think most people from our generation did that. It's something I've seen.
Not so many. I used to work at the Brass House when it first opened, and back then it was nice to wear a suit, but when I used to finish work, I would change my tie. I'd put my own tie on, just to walk through town. They were shutting at 11, but I didn't want to look like a doorman.
Yeah,
100%. I put a nice tie on, walk through town because I might go to the Cage and Zoo maybe for a drink after. Yeah, I wanted to look like a smart guy. I didn't want to look like, because you are a target, and the amount of times you'd walk along, especially when the bars were finishing at 11, because you were then walking through town and the people that you'd evicted were stood in queues for clubs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I don't understand it. Walking around with their high-vis jackets on, I'm like, why are you doing that?
And that's even like pre-Town Watch days as well and stuff like that.
Yeah,
there was no joined up work.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, where it is a bit better if you've had an incident.
Well, again, you may know more about this than I do. I think it's gone full circle. I think there was a point about 10, 15 years ago where that joint up working was fantastic. But now we're flipping back towards the venues really not cooperating and working together. I don't know if you...
I haven't spent enough time in the town centre, but I do hear that, yeah.
Very little radio usage. Well, yeah, because I think it's the economic climate. If you're barred from my venue, that's great for him because he's got another customer.
Yeah.
And these are venues that are struggling, so actually they quite like it when people are barred from other venues because it's more business for them. I think people are less choosy around their customers now than they were 20 years ago.
So they still have the Tango Charlie, the guy that was controlling, because he was great back in the day. You got to get stressed sometimes, but he was good. 12 o'clock, he'd be on there. And,
501. I used to work over in Paul. It was Charlie Pepper 4. Yeah. They were good.
I wonder if they still exist, though.
Don't know. I don't know.
They must do. With the way CCTV is.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
I remember, and someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember there was a time when they were asking licensees to buy into Town Watch.
Yeah, you had to pay for it.
You had to pay, and licensees were like, ain't spending money on that.
Mm.
It's an overhead.
Mhm.
And they didn't see the value in it. Some not all licensees, some really understood the benefit of it. But it's just very interesting how that joined up working. It goes full circles. A lot of these things do, don't they?
Yeah.
A lot of these things go full circles. The
Yeah, they
standards
do.
definitely have.
I wonder how that like affects guys on the night on the door, because I don't know about you, Mark, but we would always I'd look out for the pub over the road. We would look out
Absolutely.
for the pub next door.
Well,
We've
talked about this, and I agree with that, and you should. I believe morally, because you want them to look out for you. But Dan made a good point, and he's right. Licensees don't want you to do that. So you're ever facing this battle now of, well, I should help him out. They're like, we don't want you to help him out because we don't want that to be seen as a black mark on our venue. And then you also went through that phase of, early 2000s, door staff were becoming more and more trained through the licensing, and licensees, police licenses would come in and say, right, call these things through intelligence. If there's a problem, let us know, be proactive. And then it kind of a few years later, it started to be like, well, now licensees are getting called in. You've got a big log of incidents. Well, and I'm like, well, they're not our instance, but we are calling it in, like you said. But now at the end of the year, it's looking negative on us.
It's all minuted, isn't it?
So it's a hard one, and I think you have to address that to not just the licensees but the police. They have to go, well, we can alert you to this stuff. We can alert there's some drug dealing going on in the car park opposite, which is bringing bad people. But are you then going to put that as a black mark to our venue?
Yeah.
And if you are, licensees are simply not going to call it in.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a hard one, that, because I believe you're right. Of course you help them because they help you.
The media are terrible for that as well, aren't they? Because if there's a massive incident on the street somewhere that just happens to be outside a venue, even though that venue's got nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
Outside X bar, so and so was
arrested. You had it recently, didn't you? That one in Chelmsford. I won't mention the bar, but someone got killed.
Yeah.
It's all about that bar, and then you actually dig into it, and it wasn't the bar; it was somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
But they simply attach it to that bar.
And if and it seems to be that if you've got 2 or 3 bars in a row, it's the same bar that gets constantly mentioned.
That's right, yeah.
And it's just very difficult because I've been there and I've had these conversations with licensees where I'm working in a venue that's got 3 or 4, man team. Next door's a one-man door, and they've got a bit of an incident. So morally, I'm going to go over and help them out. I've got to spend 5-10 seconds having an argument with my licensee because he doesn't want me to do that.
Yeah.
But I do see his point, because the guy next door should be having 2 or 3 doormen.
Of course.
He's only paying for one to meet his license requirement because he knows he's got 2 or 3 guys next door that can help him.
Yeah.
So there are licensees that do cheapskate off each other. And I can imagine that is very frustrating for a licensee. But there's a lot of tokenistic working together, but they don't really work together, these licensees.
No.
Do they?
Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't.